I wanted to make this video to give voice to so many of us who pursued medicine for so long that it feels like an ingrained part of us. And then something tells you that maybe medicine is not for you, or you become so overwhelmed and stressed that you have no choice but to stop or at least pause and reflect. And that comes with a lot of guilt. I mean, how could it not? Because you've spent so many years pursuing it, so you really feel like you have to keep on going just because of how much time you've already put in. You have a lot of guilt, you start feeling like a failure, and even after I've made a decision, to pause and perhaps I won't go back to medicine, I remember going to the doctor's office and seeing the doctors feeling that I've wanted to be that for so long. I should be there. This is the life that I want. And I just felt like a failure for not being able to continue with this path. I knew it was going to be difficult, but deciding not to continue it really felt like quitting, and it made me question, am I really up for any task after that or any challenge after that? So this video is for all of those who have changed their path or are at a crossroads deciding whether to stay in medicine or change their path. So hopefully this video will help you make a decision. Here is my journey. Here you go. So first, we all have similar but slightly different motivators to be a doctor. For most of us, hopefully all of us, we want to help people. And that never goes away, even when you stop pursuing medicine. And being a doctor is one of those ways, the direct way you see that people come in, you treat them and you actually help them. That is not the easiest way to do so, but the most visible one. Second, most of us find the human body very fascinating, and learning how it works and why it works and how to help it is also very interesting. For a few people out there, of course, it's also a family pressure. For a lot of you watching, your families would want you to be successful, and that is one way they see that success, and you feel a lot of pressure being it, and especially if you decide you don't want to continue it anymore. And I'm quite sure most of us, probably all of us, wanted to make pretty good money once we're done with this, once we're done with the loans. So that is definitely one of the factors to be considered. So why is it so difficult to stop being pre-med? Let's start with the fact that you probably are on the pre-medical track for most of your undergraduate degree, if not all of it, and as well part of high school. Because at least that's how it was for me. I knew what classes I need to take to get on the pre-med track in the university, and then there all of your classes are skewed towards medicine and how it applies to the human body. You probably joined so many student orgs that are also in the for medicine and for pre-meds. You're doing volunteering, you're having some jobs on the side that are always about medicine, and you've already put so many hours, so much effort for it that it seems so crazy even to just take it and as if throw it all away, because you've already done so much. All of your friends, at least a lot of your friends, are probably in this pre-med crazy part as well. So that's all you see around you. That's all they talk about. You internally feel like you are competing with them. You feel like if you quit, all of them will consider you a failure perhaps. And overall, you might not have any more topics for conversations. You might be even worried that you're gonna lose your friends and lose your connections, which is very difficult, of course. But not necessarily. I did not end up losing my friends. We still talk. I'm very happy that some of them went into medical school and some of them decided it's not for them either. But we are still friends, so I just wanted to reassure you that you don't have to worry about it too much. I think besides the fact that your life has just been revolving around medicine for at least 4 years, everything in your life revolving around it, Another difficult part is that probably your family and extended family might already be referring you to as a future doctor. You're gonna go to medical school. I know for me, my family got me a mug. It said something about, trust me, I am almost a doctor, or something like that. And it was very cute, and I loved it. But then it also reinforced this idea that I have to keep going. Like, this is how my family already sees me. It is so difficult to just acknowledge it to people you care about most, that perhaps this is not what you want to do anymore. And like I mentioned before, they want you to be successful, so how else are you going to be, quote unquote, successful in life if not by that? So that is definitely another part of complicated emotions. So why did I end up changing my career path? For me, it actually wasn't just one thing, it were a few. First thing was MCAT, as many of you know, and I feel like many outside of pre-med society do not know how anxiety-inducing that test is. Yeah, you probably already know most of the information because you've been taking these classes like physics and organic chemistry and all the other biologies, psychologies, and chemistries. But the parts that you don't know, you being so stressed over this test that pretty much determines the rest of your life, it's 3 times harder and probably 3 times longer to learn that information that you don't already know. I actually never ended up taking MCAT. I signed up for it 2 times and I canceled it like 1 week before both times, just because I was not ready and I was not able to study. So that was just very stressful for me. So here was my brilliant plan at the time. I was going to take a year or 2 off, and after graduating I decided to travel, and then after resting for a bit I was going to study again for MCAT, and I was going to take it because, if I ever decided to go back to medicine, all I need to do is just take MCAT because I already have all the prerequisites. So now that I've graduated and I started traveling, I did not expect how much I would love that. But it's not just the traveling that I loved, it's the freedom of being able to do it pretty much at any point. I know that if I were to become a doctor, I would have the money to travel, but I've also heard that you barely have the time to do so on a very busy, schedule in medical school, and then residency, and then fellowship, and then at your actual job. It's very difficult to take time off. So even if you have the money, you probably do not have the time to travel constantly. And then part of me was actually really excited that I was done with school and that I didn't need to go back to school I didn't feel like I wanted to go back for another 4 years in the university. I mean, that changed later, but in the moment, I just did not want any more school. I just wanted to be done. And also, as a side note, I've actually never been a fan of blood. Every time, I would not pass out per se, but whenever I would see somebody get hurt, like anywhere on their body, and they're bleeding, I would feel so uncomfortable because I would feel that they're in so much pain. I don't know. I don't like it. And then while I was traveling, by the way, I did end up working for a clinic, and I would see a lot of those cases, and I would hear a lot of the stories of the things I missed the day before. So that should have been probably my first clue that I should not be in medicine, but that certainly did not help. Yeah. So why did I decide to go into psychology, and how does that compare to being a pre-med? Remember those traits that I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that probably all of us want to help others. Yeah, that feeling never goes away. But being a doctor is not the only way you can actually help people. I remember when I was doing one of my summer jobs in college, I met this guy who was a personal trainer. And he also said that he was a pre-med, and he ended up working in an ambulance for one of his summer jobs. What he realized that most people he was picking up were very unhealthy because they barely had any movement and because of their diet. So I'm not sure why he decided to not pursue medicine anymore, but he found fulfillment in being a personal trainer because those are the exact things that help people be healthier. He might not be treating their issues of, back pain or whatnot, or actually back pain could still work in this case, but he was actively helping people being healthier so they wouldn't even need to go to the doctor. And that, I am sure, fulfilled his I want to be needed and I want to help others trait. And psychology does that for me. Another thing is that I am fascinated about how the human body works, but what I'm also fascinated about is how the human mind works. I don't know if we can really figure out all parts about the brain and how long that will take, but I really like to question of why people do what they do, what moves them, how to help them, how can we be better people to one another and have better relationships. I honestly just want to figure those things out for myself. But thinking that one day I'll be able to perhaps help others figure out those things, that's definitely helpful as well. And those are the two reasons I decided to go to grad school for psychology. Because I want to learn about why we think the way we do and, how to help with that. And again, one day I might actually be helping others with that. So if you are right now at a crossroads, not knowing which path to take and to continue with medicine track or to do something else, my advice would be to see where you would like to be in 10 years and then work from there. Would you like to be able to travel constantly like what I want? Then perhaps medicine is not for you. You might have the money, but you might not have the time. Unless you find an industry that genuinely would allow you to do that, or maybe have your own clinic, who knows? So either way, once you figure out where you want to be, just work backwards and see, is medicine the only way to get there? Is medicine the way I want to get there? Or if my heart is actually pulling myself in a different direction. And if after that it's still difficult for you to figure out what you want to do, put it in the comments down below and perhaps all of us can help you figure out what to do. But there are so many different careers and so many different paths that you might not even know about. So make sure to do your research so you really know and you're 100% sure wherever you're going is where it's meant for you. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.